trees that keep me humble are most trees. I feel like every time I get out of a tree, I'm like, man, I could have probably done that a little faster, a little better. I'm constantly just critiquing my own stuff.
Welcome back, everybody. Today, episode of Stumped In, the podcast built specifically for the tree service niche. Today, we have Brandon Schaefer, also known as the Tactical Arborist. He's a climber who posts some serious crane work and storm content on Instagram. Brandon, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing awesome, man. How about you?
Doing excellent, sir. Just another day. Let's dive into the quick background. How did you get into the tree industry, and what does the operation look like today for you?
So I always kind of give the same spiel when people ask how I got into the industry. It's sort of a joke, but it's sort of not a joke. So I was enamored by a beautiful Mexican woman named Fernanda, and she had a boyfriend that was a Green Beret, and I was like, damn, I'm kind of a bitch compared to a Green Beret. I mean, I still am, let's be fair, but I was like, I need to do something tough with my life. You know, I was in college and just kind of bopping around here and there, and I was like, I need to do something challenging and something that I'm not sure if I could do. And so that was either like get on an oil rig or become a tree climber. And I always used to watch Axemen and stuff like that, and I saw a couple videos and I was like, I want to be a tree climber. I'm like, that looks like something that I would be interested in. And I thought that I was going to do it for a little while and then pursue the degree that I actually went to college for. And but yeah, I'm still in it now, and it's a love-hate for sure, but yeah, here I am 10 years later, a little bit more than that. My operation today is I am technically a contract climber. My goal for this year from spring to fall is to do a full US tour, all around the country, working with as many companies as possible, preferably, established companies, but small outfits who just need another climber and need a hand with something. They have a lot of production that they have to get done. Sure. They want help promoting their company, whatever it is. I just want to work with cool people and do fun projects and help smaller businesses, stay on track. And I did a little test run last fall and kind of went a couple different states, and I had a great time, and I'm really trying to go full on with it this year. So,
man, that sounds exciting. What are some states you've hit already? Is it just a couple of them, or have you already been through probably how many?
Yeah, a couple of them. So right now I'm in Florida, trying to see this through and make it make sense. But in the fall, I went to North Carolina for a little bit. I was at Craig's Tree Service in Western North Carolina. That was a blast. I was there for a couple weeks helping them out. And then I went up to Maine with Bergeron Tree Care. Those guys were awesome. Everyone had their own specialized skill set. I went to Buffalo, New York for the third time to work with my buddy Alex G from Alex G's Trees. And he's the man. He's like one of the most underrated climbers there is. The guy works like 7 days a week, and he's a total savage. I always have a good time. And then I went out to Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, with Aaron Schmidt. And I was there for a little while and had a blast out there. I never thought I would find myself in the Midwest.
Sure.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. And then I ended it with I went to Massachusetts because there's this guy, Ben Belisle, in Springfield, Massachusetts. He's always been in the industry. A lot of his family was in the industry, and but he's a corrections officer, and he wanted to find a way to combine both of those things. So he has been running this program for 6 years where he takes exemplary inmates at the tail end of their sentence and he trains them to become arborists.
Wow.
And I went out there for 2 days and worked with 3 of the guys and got them up in this tree with a beautiful view. And got him out on some limb walks and stuff like that, just chasing deadwood around this tree. And I definitely plan on doing that again this year and bringing back a bunch of killers with me.
Man,
And
it's pretty inspirational, man. Like just to be able to change someone's outlook or perspective moving forward, from that difficult time is pretty impactful. I applaud
yeah. No, he runs a really good program. He's got a lot of, he's got a lot of grants and he's got equipment and stuff like that. But he's always looking for more tree climbing gear for the guys. Specifically like pants and boots and clothing and things like that. It's it's tough to provide all those things for these guys. But he runs a really really good program, and that was a blast to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Man, that's
good
awesome
stuff all around.
The name Tactical Arborist is something we found online when doing some research about you, Brandon. Where does that name come from?
So most people think that I was like in the military or something, or have like a military background. It's funny, every time I like say my Instagram handle, I kind of cringe. It's a little cringy to me now. But I thought of it before, like tactical was like a buzzword. I was working for this company, this smaller company, probably about 5 years into my career, and it was chaos, and they took a lot of risks and cut a lot of corners and a lot of shortcuts, and I saw a lot of accidents happen.
Sure.
And I was like, this is not the kind of arborist that I want to be. I want to be premeditated and well thought out and planned, and I don't want accidents to happen. I don't want to hurt myself, and I don't want property to get damaged. This is not who I want to emulate. And I'm like, I want to be like tactical. And I was like, oh shit, tactical. I'm like, all right, that's at first I was like, oh, that's a sick name, and then now I'm like, ugh, gross.
I think it's awesome, man. I think it provides a little bit of detail into your background, and also I think it's a pretty good buzzword. Like you'd be surprised with some of the different acronyms that people use in the tree service space aren't quite the best. Like they don't look into it, or like maybe don't think like just a half a second longer and like what their name means. Like Big John's tree. It's just like, man, I feel like there's different things that different.
Well, if you look up the word. If you look up the word tactical in the dictionary, I mean, it kind of gives you an idea of like exactly how you should proceed with most of your tree work.
Yeah.
Big picture, well thought out, planned tactics. You use tactics.
Yeah. So I like it a lot, to be honest. That's why I was just wanted to share that. I've seen some of your content on Instagram. You posted some serious crane work. Like I said, also that 55 ton content. I think I saw a couple different posts about that. That's no joke. Walk us through what a job looks like from the climber's perspective on something like that.
So that was at John B. Ward. Represent. Love my buddies. I was there for like probably about 2.5 years, and I miss those guys. But so we had a 33 ton, a 45 ton, and a 55 ton, and working in the main line of PA, there's a lot of tight driveways, a lot of hills, a lot of very, very big old growth trees. So setting up was always a little bit of a challenge, but all of our crane operators were really experienced, and we were able to do things with a smaller crane than most people would normally do with a big crane. I mean, we would contract bigger cranes out for larger scale projects and stuff like that, but the things that we were able to take care of with those were really impressive. But I kind of cut my teeth with crane work at John B. Ward, because I was always, for 8 years, I was just like a manual removal guy, ISA certified pruner, all that stuff, doing good pruning and limb walking big oaks and stuff. But I'd never really done a lot of crane work, and I got like fully immersed there, and I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, and I was pretty humbled on a regular, but I didn't like flippity pieces or anything, but I was always going after like getting things to float off of my cut. I always have higher standards than what I probably deserve, but I'm always striving to make really, really clean picks, and not waste a bunch of time, but also, um, you know, get some clean looking pics and have everything nice and controlled.
Yeah. It seems like a mixture of efficient machinery and, obviously your guys' skill sets that kind of come together to allow you guys to do a job like that. Because you mentioned you had
Yeah.
some smaller teams, maybe even like some smaller equipment. You were able to, get around some constraints that other crews might not have been able to get around. Is that
Yeah, for
basically
sure.
on something like your guys' skill, or is it more so like some processes and systems that you guys have in place?
It was definitely the guys that we worked with. I mean, a lot of those guys at that company are very, very experienced. They're all killers. And they all have their strong suit, and we just work together really, really well.
Sure.
That was one thing that I noticed about that company more than any other company is every team, no matter who it was, everybody had their strong suit, and everyone was very, very good at one or more things, and then you come together as a team and you're able to accomplish some pretty wild stuff. And
It's like working kind of like in like centralized pods, I guess you'd say, where certain people have certain skill sets that are better than others, and for those types of jobs, you'd resort to those people, and then kind of resource your team that way.
yeah, for sure. For a while, I was running with this guy Nick Hensel, and he had been doing crane work for like 8 or 10 years, and I'd been doing manual removals for 8 or 10 years. So we both learned from each other, and he was an he was an awesome rope guy, and we had a generational run for about a year, and then I started working with Pete Ward, and he's good buddy of mine, and his brother James Ward, he was also a crane operator and equipment operator, and everyone just had their strong suit, and we all did some wild stuff together. But yeah, it was just it was always a blast. We had our days for sure. For sure.
That's
Me
all,
and
dude.
Pete me and Pete have had our screaming matches, but then like 20 minutes later we're just like, laughing and giggling and just
Hug it out,
yeah.
bro. Hug it out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was going to get into the next one. Let's talk about one of your gnarliest removals that you worked on. The one that keeps you humble. It seems like storm work seems to be a part of what you do. How do you decide which storms are worth chasing and what the economics look like?
So I had always worked for a company, so we never really chased storm work. Storm work would just come in. When I was at Broadleaf in the Raleigh-Durham area in North Carolina, the owner said, he's like, we're not gonna like pick up our whole crew and go drive to Florida so that we could rake in money. Like we have clients here that we have to take care of. There's plenty of people who go out and do those things, and yeah, sure, would it be great financially, but it's like we try and keep our loyalty to our customers, and that was the same with John B. Ward. Like we always had enough work there. We didn't have to chase storms, and the main line got plenty of storms as it was. So I mean, we were always doing stuff with power lines and big giant poplar trees that broke out, or whatever. We had our fair share of storm work that we didn't have to like chase or travel out of state to do. Okay. We had our
fair enough.
But so trees
In
that
terms
keep
of like
me
maybe a gnarlier removal, like something that's been an edge case on one of your in your experience, like what's one of the gnarliest removals you've worked on?
So the trees that keep me humble are most trees. I feel like every time I get out of a tree, I'm like, man, I could have probably done that a little faster, a little better. I'm constantly just critiquing my own stuff. I don't need Facebook keyboard warriors shit talking me. Trust me, I do it enough to myself.
Sure.
But
I contemplated posting and editing and snipping this part out of it so you didn't have to deal with somebody else and this other stuff.
Yeah. I know how I work, and I know there's probably ways to make it a little bit more efficient. So I'm always striving to be better. I'm always humbled, especially in my later years. When I was younger, I thought I was the man, and the more you do it, the more you realize that you're kind of a scrub. Uh, but the gnarliest removal that I probably ever did was this big oak tree. It had like no bark on it. It was very, very big. It was in a wooded area, but we couldn't drop it. You know, we're on like a multi-million-dollar property. Woods are not necessarily woods. Woods are still part of somebody's property. So we're not trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not trying to just trash all the understory trees just by flopping a 100-foot tree.
Right.
But we probably could have gotten a spider lift to it, but I just had a little pep in my step that day, and I was like, nah, I can go up, I can tie in here. It's going to be really, really sketchy, but I can piece this thing out, and I just wanted to do it that way. And I had my buddy James on site, and Nick was there too. And for some reason, like if James is on site, I feel like I can do anything. Like there's a line for sure, but I'm like I could take down what for some reason I just felt like everything's gonna be okay.
Who is James? Give us a little bit of a background there, just for context.
So James, Pete Ward and James Ward are the sons of the owner of John B. Ward, and we all worked really well together. I didn't plan on becoming really good friends with those guys, but it just worked out that way. And we did a lot of like real crazy stuff together. But yeah, I had my boys on the ground, and they were like, all right, like, I think you'll be okay.
It always seems like the climber has a little bit more confidence whenever he has, his guys versus, some guys that he's not as familiar with.
Yeah, 100%. You want your confidants, because, your boys are going to let you know, like, hey, I don't think you should do it this way, or, they'll let you know if they think that you can do it or not. And I just pieced this big oak tree down little by little, and then we just dropped a big stem, and it was a crazy day. One of the more humbling trees that I've recently done was like my first day working at Craig's Tree Service in Western North Carolina. My setup just wasn't perfect for ascending the tree, but I was like, oh, whatever, like I gotta get up there. We're in it to win it now. We got to do what we got to do. And I probably expended more energy than I needed to. And, but I get up there, I get my good tie in, I get my rigging points, I start smoking this tree out. It's covered in vines. And then I get down to the wood, I take like a couple pieces of wood, and all of a sudden my forearms and hands start cramping like I've never had before. And I was like really in a bind, and I just kept like asking for water and Gatorades, and I'm drinking so much, but it's not doing anything. And I'm like, I could barely like hold on to my rope.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, dude, don't have to get rescued your first day here. That's kind of embarrassing. So I was like, I think I can drop a couple logs, and it's got to be flat, and it's got to be in this exact area. I was able to do that, but I was like, I don't want to be in those positions. Like, you kind of got to take better care of yourself, bud. Like, can't just power through stuff anymore. And,
maybe some of your youth is getting to you there, and you're starting to come through on that.
For sure. And in my later years, I'm trying to become a lot more efficient about how I do things, and, how I operate. So
sure. I have no point in pointing that out. As you can see, I'm definitely younger than you, but it seems like as we get older, we learn how to be definitely more efficient and more effective with our work.
Yeah. I mean, that's tree work in general. You have to, or you'll just phase out.
Sure. Give me a couple things here, Brandon. This one will be a quick rapid fire. So what's something in your truck and on your harness that you can't live without?
My 2511 Echo rip saw that they modded out. That is hands down my favorite tool to use. I love that thing so much. It's so light, when you throw around a 201 or a 200T for 10 years, like you're gonna feel some tennis elbow or whatever. Like, it's gonna get to you after a while. But that's such a good pruning saw to have. But I also do like most of my removals with that saw until I need like a little something more powerful. But
sure,
for the most part, I can kind of smoke out the whole canopy with that saw, and it's just nice to have it like really light on your hip. You can throw it around, and it's still got the power to be able to do what you need it to do.
100%.
I'm definitely not a gear nerd. That's probably why I've never had a gear sponsorship. I always wanted to be like a sponsored climber and this and that. And the more I realize it, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't use a lot of the new fancy gear. It's like no one's gonna sponsor you if you're not promoting.
Those are the guys that are sponsoring, right? The new guys, right? Trying to get their name out there.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, so I don't have a lot of crazy fancy gear or anything like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I just like to have another system if I need it. I rarely double tie in, but if I need to, it's nice to have something to help balance you out, and weird canopies with no central tie in. Yeah.
The climbing saws definitely seem to be up on the top of the list on some of those for the majority of our audience's answers for that question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Between the climbing saws and then some of the weird carabiners and things that they use, rigging and things, it seems like those are the most popular choices for that answer.
Yeah, I like the Petzl easy something, or what it's the thing with the ball on the gate, and you just it's a lot easier to open. It's still triple action, but it's easier to open than a lot of the other carabiners. So I like having that on for quick access, and you got to be nimble. It's tough to be nimble when you got big old sausage fingers.
Yeah, totally understand. One thing about this industry, I notice a lot of people use Instagram, and it kind of can be a resume for some companies in this industry. Has posting content directly led to any work for you, Brandon?
For sure, it's led to most of my work. At least in the later years.
Sure. Tell us a bit about that.
So, I mean, I started posting just because I liked what I was doing, and I thought I was doing some cool stuff. And it's funny to have a career where you think most people don't have a career where they're like, I'm gonna bring in a GoPro and put it on my head, people are probably gonna enjoy what I'm doing. I mean, there's definitely plenty of industries where that is applicable, but it's not super common.
No.
So I just started posting videos, and I love video editing. I like editing things, making videos about things that I'm passionate about. And just a couple videos went viral, and that got me a decent following, and I've just stayed true to what I post. And people seem to like it. So but yeah, through that I've had a lot of opportunities, and this whole US tour that I'm trying to do. I mean, primarily that is how I'm reaching out to a lot of these companies, and that's how a lot of these companies know me. And it helps facilitate things a lot rather than like making cold calls. People will be like, they're like, oh, all right, like all of your stuff, all of your content is right here. Like you can get an idea of what somebody is capable of through videos. I mean, it's not always an exact representation, but
sure.
You can definitely get an idea whether or not somebody knows what they're doing or not.
Like take into consideration the type of content you post. You can see your cuts. You wouldn't maybe see what it would be like to interact with you on a daily basis and stuff like that. So that portion of it might still be missing, but the way your content is on your Instagram, you could probably, like, as if someone was looking to hire you, they could look at your page and know within 30 seconds to 3 minutes probably, hey, Brandon can do these X, Y, and Z things. Brandon's probably, I haven't seen any videos from Brandon or content about stump grinding or whatever, so maybe Brandon's not familiar with that. Like, whatever it is, long story short, they would know exactly from looking at your Instagram that you pretty much are pretty qualified right off the bat.
Yeah. And the way that I operate is anyone can cut a bunch of big stuff and bury their ground crew and get a tree on the ground quick, but I do what I can to help take things a little bit smaller if it's easier on the ground. And
sure.
I also like to set up my rigging so that people aren't having to like take a pole saw and pull a branch out of, out of some bushes or out of some understory trees, or, throw ball something out of, out of a stuck position. Like, I do what I can to help make the ground guys' job easier, because the easier their job is, the easier my job is. And, the quicker you can,
So,
you might not get out of the tree quicker, but it's just going to make things run a lot smoother, and your ground guys aren't going to hate you. So
sure.
that's always a good benefit.
100%. A lot of our listeners run tree service companies and also hire contract climbers. What's something that you wish company owners would understand about your side of the business, Brandon?
The one thing that I can't stand when people do is like undersell how difficult something is going to be.
Sure.
Whether or not I can do it or not, don't just be like, oh, this is going to be this is going to be a piece of cake. Like, you're going to blast through this, blah, 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 or, whatever it is. Like, oh, we're going to be out by noon or whatever. It's like, let's just see it first, because I hate going in with the expectation that something is going to be super easy. And then you're like, no, this is a tree. Like, this is a big tree. I can do it, but like, you didn't really paint the greatest picture of
there's
this,
circumstances to consider that aren't being brought in there.
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But just giving a good representation of what your day is going to look like, or don't just have me show just like, we have a big tree.
Yeah. Either way, that can be probably pretty frustrating.
It definitely can. Yeah. I've had that a time or two, but and also I don't like, I feel like I do things at a decent pace. I don't like being rushed or feel like I'm being micromanaged. I like communicating with the ground and the people working underneath me, like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think we can do this? Is this too big? Is this gonna, bury you guys? Like, I like communicating with people about how to get things done. I'm not just like, this is my way, I want to do it this way, but yeah, like feeling like I'm rushed or feeling the owner's anxiety about a job or something like that. And it's like, this is going really well. Like, there's no need that I should feel your stress while I'm up in the tree. Like, that's my job to inherit,
Right. 100%.
like, we're going to figure this out, and things are going just fine, but just don't rush me. I know things will go a lot smoother from there. So
What's some advice you'd give a solid climber? Someone maybe who's thinking about going independent as a contractor?
that's funny, because I'm usually that guy looking for that exact advice, because I'm not like an experienced contract climber. But throughout what I've done, I would say just making sure that you are covered and you are in agreement with the person that you are working for. What are your duties? What are your expectations, and you have to factor in liability and things like that as well. And just making sure that you're safe and not risking your life because somebody doesn't know how to run a rope, or also just knowing whether or not you're being taken advantage of, and just just try and work for good people that you're happy to work with, and they're not rushing you, and they're not just trying to stack on like 8 jobs and work you till till 8 at night. Like, that's really it. Just cover your bases, and make sure that you're safe, and make sure that you're covered, liability wise.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the next question. A couple of these rapid fire real quick. These ones will be a little bit shorter. Feel free to dive off into as long as you want to make them, but you can also hit them pretty short if you'd like. What separates the guys who make it in the industry from the ones who wash out? If you had to answer that question in a few sentences, how would you put it?
You have to want this, because this is a really difficult job, physically, mentally, sometimes. And you just have to really want it, and you have to really enjoy what you do, because if you don't, you're going to be like, this is really tough. This sucks. It's hot, or it's really cold, or just getting rained on, you're getting stung by bees and shit like that. It's like you have to really like what you do in order to deal with all the things that you're going to deal with. Staying in shape is big, and working on little things like stretching and mobility, and not just slamming monsters all day. And it's like you can have your vices at work, but you also want to take care of yourself, because this is not a long time,
Yeah, at the end of the day, are you trying to cut trees for a couple of years, or are you trying to make some money and move on, sort of thing? Not for you personally. I'm just saying that's kind of how that perspective goes for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people who are just trying to they're there for the income and not the outcome, and they're just trying to get paid and move on to something else. And I'm kind of in the mix of that. Like, I am trying to get paid. I'm trying to stack up money, but I do love what I do, and I like helping people out. I like working together with good people and doing fun things and making good content. But I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I don't know if I'll be in the tree industry in 5 years. So that's why right now I'm doing what I can to go full throttle with this. And, if I go out in the next couple of years, then I know that I went out with a bang. And, that's kind of what I'm after right now.
Yeah, man. I'd say you've already surpassed, a good chunk of people. I think, you've got a decent following, and just the progress that you've made is pretty inspirational to others. So I would say don't be too hard on yourself, because I know a lot of people probably look at that and aspire to have something like that, or even a portion of it. So
yeah, that does always baffle me when somebody messages me and they're like, "Hey man, your content really inspires me and this and that, and I've learned a lot." And I'm like, okay.
All you thought you were doing was making some cool video about cutting a tree, when someone really learned some, really unique thing, or just it branched their, brain, or kind of tinkled their brain just enough to get them interested in, okay, what is that? What is this? Oh, a related topic, and I think it's super inspiring. So I applaud you for that. Last up,
Thanks.
A couple things here. Who in the industry do you look up to or learn from? Is there anyone you want to shout out today?
Gosh, so many people. Like, obviously there's the big names in the industry that everybody knows, but really just a lot of the people that I work with, and Alex G from Alex G's Trees. I've learned so much from him. The guy's a killer. And Pete Ward and Nick Hensel has become so good with SRT, and he's really able to wrap his brain around it. I'm just baffled at how smart he is with it. And people like Pat Fitch, who is just a wizard with SRT, and he's doing things where I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're doing or why you're doing that, but I know it makes sense. Guys like DB Tree, I think is his Instagram handle. He's in Fiji. He's also another wizard with SRT. Robert CK is a guy that's where I learned to land logs flat, and flip logs and things like that. Just there's so many guys in the industry that I look up to.
Super cool.
Yeah, younger guys, OGs. There's a lot of really inspiring people doing a lot of cool stuff that you just take a little bit from.
100%. Where can people find you today, Brandon? What's your Instagram handle, or anything on social media you want to shout out so people could try to find you?
So Instagram handle is tactical_arborist. And like I said, I'm doing a US tour. No matter where you're at, let me know. Give me a message. And if you need a guy between spring and fall of 2026, I'm happy to come out. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know what my path is going to look like right now. I'm kind of just working on the spring section for right now. I'm hoping to go out west and work with a couple guys out there. um, and then work my way back towards the Northeast, and late summer to fall, kind of do like another New England tour. When the foliage is all nice and stuff, and the weather's good, and yeah, I like doing trees in the Northeast. A lot of fun.
It's exciting.
But I've never done it out west before, so that is my goal as well. I want to do some big stuff out there. Also, Bend of the Forest. Bend of the Forest is the man. I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to this know who that is. Yeah, I mean, any of the guys who are working in Australia and New Zealand doing those massive eucalyptus trees and stuff like that, I admire those guys. I would love to believe that I have that dog in me. Ron the Rocket from the UK, OG guys, doing it for like 25 years, doing like real big stuff like quad blocking, like 6,000 pound pieces down and stuff like that. Guys doing really like intricate rigging and intricate SRT stuff. I look up to a lot.
That's awesome. Last thing on our list for today, Brandon, is anything else you want tree service owners to know? Anything you want to share with the owners of tree service companies around the U.S. and Canada?
Just take care of your employees, and I know it's tough finding good employees who are going to stay and going to be loyal, and it's tough to find people who are going to be with you for 10 plus years. A lot of guys come and go. There's a lot of turnover, but just finding out like what the goals of your employees are, and how you can help them out with that, and understanding that our job is very difficult, as is sales can be difficult as well, and it's all a group effort. We all need each other. I am nothing as a climber without a good rope guy. That's what makes a lot of my videos really cool, is having a killer on the ropes who's able to let something run or do like some advanced rigging and understand the dynamics of what's going to happen.
Right.
It's like a lot of the stuff that I do would not look cool at all if I just had some guy like locking up the rope.
No. You got the angles and everything. It's kind of an elaborate setup you got, man. You'd be surprised how good your content is compared to some of the others in the space.
Yeah, I've seen some things here and there.
It's good stuff. That's all.
Yeah. Other than that, that's I know like a lot of the big corporate companies, there's a big gap between what the salespeople make and what the foremen on those crews make, and I know that's a big point of contention for a lot of the guys at bigger companies.
Sure.
So that that is definitely something that should be looked into and taken into consideration.
100%.
So
some exciting stuff we covered today, Brandon. I just wanted to shout out, thanks for your time today, man. I really appreciate you showing up and providing us with some time, as well as dedicating your time for the audience, so that way we can share some of this insight and authority with different guys in the space, and they can learn these different strategies and kind of take some of these things to their own benefit. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, appreciate you. See you guys next time.